Hello, my name is Native. I'm currently a head coach of the community team at the Waikato Esports Arena. I also do casting here and there over at a place called Total Mayhem Gaming. You'll catch me there mostly in the weekends now, a bit busy with work. I've been at it for 2 whole years now, I would say. It's a hobby that takes up most of my time, and then I get a bit of mix of different levels and different elos. Skill caps come through. I'll let Coffee introduce himself as well.
Hey all, my name is Coffee. I got the esports scholarship from the University of Waikato in 2019. I mostly play Heroes of Storm, but I also play and watch quite a bit of League.
Okay, so what we're going to be doing today is we're going to go over a little bit of top lane gameplay coming out from the Week 5 game. Shin Black here on the Ornn, up on the blue side. Renekton being played by It. I'd say it's Y, right? YHY is Y?
I'll just say at YHY, I guess.
Or like ETYHY? Or ETY? I don't know.
I don't.
ETY is now my man.
Uh,
He's playing Renekton. So we're just going to go over how this lane kind of falls apart for the Renekton, because there is a point here between this minute 30 mark and the 7 minute mark. A lot of mistakes are shown by this Renekton, and a couple from Ornn as well that we'll be going over. But this is a really good example of just showing how managing waves up in the top side leads to success when it comes to later stages of the game, and it sets you up for those game plans you are trying to run it as a team. At the moment, we're looking at a little bit of an odd comp coming out of red side, but blue side's probably more standard, looking to just scale into the game. Ornn, Ezreal, Syndra pretty much says it all. I think red side's a little more aggressive. You have the Renekton, you have a Lucian, you have a Kayn. All champions are kind of signaling at being aggro early. So we'll see how this one breaks down and how it all goes. So with that, it's going to be a bit awkward, but start this one off. Now, what will probably be like the little first tester, but what you want to be doing when it comes to a lane and you don't see anyone, just walk. My pen should work. So as the Ornn here, you just want to stroll up here before the wave crashes, and you want to pull this minion right here. All right. So what's this gonna do is you pull it straight to either this brush. I really need to.
take two of us.
Pardon? Pull this minion here into this brush or this brush. And that way, with how waves work, top side, if you really want to like take control of the waves, what you can do is pull this minion into this brush here or towards this brush. What that will cause is like a little stack effect, where these three minions will end up, not the these two minions here, instead of one minion each coming in the wave, you'll instead have both of these minions crash at the same time, both coming forward. This is a lot of arrows. My B, my B.
This is LS right here. Holy.
So what you have is these two minions will end up being in a line, and they both connect this minion at the same time. Not just in, but it'll it'll just make sure the wave pushes towards you, because these two minions are going to smack away on this first one immediately, rather than having all one-off melees hit each other individually. So if you get two smacking one, that's going to lead to this minion's health depleting a lot faster, and in sense, the side that has the least amount of health obviously be the one that gets pushed in. Now, as a champion like Ornn, who pretty much doesn't want to have any interaction with his lane opponent, AFKing and having the wave pushing into you is just it is your goal that you're looking for. a correct coffee every time.
When you're playing the scaling combo, in this case, just looking for matchup, you're playing the scaling matchup of Yawn. Doing nothing is success. You're getting ahead by the natural game progression. In this case, Orn with his Living Forge, upgrading for items later on, he doesn't want to do anything. As long as the wave's getting pushed into you, as long as nothing's really happening, as long as you're not going to get dove or anything like that, but with a K-Nat might be a little bit difficult, you're going to be fine. Just sitting underneath your tower, basically.
Yeah, pretty much the goal for this on, and it's completely different to the goal of the Renekton in this game. But what Renekton wants to be doing is the complete opposite to the on, and he wants to be putting pressure onto on the whole time while managing the minion waves. So as a Renekton, you always kind of want to keep the wave in the center area, right on this line. If you could, want to hold it just about here. And this leads you to having a nice positioning. If you could hold it on this side, it would be optimal, but Ornn should never, never, ever go past this line with the minion wave. So if you just hold it here, Ornn can never walk past this kind of area, and then you have space to play these all three bushes. Have these kind of areas you can sit in, play around the Ornn Q, and as well as you playing with the distance towards the Ornn with E through minions, and then of course the tower range. So I wish I knew how to clear this screen. Control shift. Nice. Okay.
We were talking about wanting to force Orn under tower as well. The next one rotates with
Yeah, I think in this level one was
like the main goal for the next one should be a slow push.
yeah. So right now, on not pulling the wave like it suggested, but it's not too big of a deal to be honest. Uh, as long as he still maintains like 50-50 with the wave dying the same time as Renekton's one does, and Renekton already losing out pretty much level 1 right now. So he wasted Q on the minions, didn't even full kill it or lost health because he not only took the damage from the Ornn Q, but Ornn Q also killed all minions. So right now, Ornn's technically in the lead, even though it's something so minor. When you get into the thick of it, what has happened right now has set back Renekton's health resource, which he should be using to just actively push on away from these first three waves. Now, what you can do as the Renekton in this case, then, so as the Renekton, you want to be sitting about here. When that first wave did come through, so we're at this mark, as the Renekton, what we want to do is when he walks through, just walk right here, right into this pocket. And what this causes is either Ornn fights you for dominance in the lane, which you should win because of this amount of sustain you do have. You have sitting on a Thorin shield, you have a pot, you have the Q that obviously heals the Renekton. So just straight fight him. Level 1, secure dominance, pressure the Ornn so he has to sit back here, and then you control the wave state repeatedly from that case on. Unfortunately, this just wasn't the case this time around, and you'll see how it just sets up the Renekton for just a bad time.
Already, just from the Yonku and the main auto attacks, Nexon's lost over 100 health, which makes it much harder for him to take good trades against Bjorn.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's lost so much health for, and he's achieved nothing with it.
So how you want to be playing your health towards like trades in these earlier stages is you want to use health to secure yourself lane priority. Like what Renekton can do, he's sitting on the Conqueror. He has the Q that's going to heal himself, obviously. At the moment, healing him for 3 health for each non-champion, and then 13 for each champion. Up to 50, right? Yeah, up to 50. So he's always going to be guaranteed 50.
That's before considering the Fury bonus, which means just even more
Yeah,
health sustained for the next one.
there's always guaranteed the 50, and like you can stack Fury very quickly as the Renekton. Yeah, so what he should be doing this whole time, just playing in this kind of pocket between the casters and allies, and have a bit of time doing that. and then losing this health doesn't matter in that case because he's getting control of the lane state, and that's what you want to be doing. So right now, as the second wave approached, because both waves are still in the middle line here, we're still in this kind of middle section. Right now, you can see right now the minions on the side of Ornn. These melees are a lot lower than the ones of Renekton. So what's this going to mean is Renekton's wave is going to slow push into the Ornn. And even though it is wave number 2, this is still going to set you up for everything that's going to happen later stages through the waves. And what really want to be doing as a Renekton is kind of a slow push in wave 1, you want to hit it evenly with the enemy. Wave 2, you hit evenly with the enemy until wave 3 shows up. So when wave 3 shows up, now I'm...
Yes.
Yeah, so basically right now, whenever Ornn hits a minion, you can hit a minion. But in this case, just leave them alone till last hit because right now, Ornn's hitting minions. His minions are already low. You do not need to hit these bad boys. Let them chill for now. And then as the third wave approaches with the cannon, that's when you turn on full triggers and you just kill everything as fast as you can. That would lead to these 3 casters probably still being alive, as well as maybe one of these melees. And then the whole reinforcing wave that's coming in 3 to help push under the tower. And then Ornn, it does a pretty good job at clearing minions, but not good enough to clear a cannon wave immediately. So with that, you can recall. You should have roughly around the 450 gold mark, maybe a little bit more. You can pick yourself up either a longsword, a cull if you really want to just play the lane. But as a Renekton, probably not the best idea. So a longsword would be nice. You could maybe get a rejuve if you want, plus boots. Boots would be really good here because um, a thing I like to say is speed equals damage, and it also equals less damage. So if you have that more movement speed, you can wiggle a lot better, get in and out of spells that will be flying at you. I don't know if, from your experience, Coffee, like if this is a thing, but maybe it's just because I'm a bit of a Singed player.
Well, being a player, you would suggest that movement speed is damaged, but more so for ranged characters for this case, instead we're looking at 2 melees. There's not really a lot that movement speed does, unless, of course, one person is trying to chase down the other.
Yeah.
Which Renekton can definitely look to do if he has boots. He can run down Ornn. If he kites well, he'll be able to get extra order attacks while both of them are running towards Ornn's turret.
Mm. Yeah, definitely. And like with a cheetah is what it's called, on that cannon wave, you get that bad boy in. You're gonna come back with an item advantage against, or probably not, because it is on. Unfortunately, like this champion, he cheaters by staying in the lane.
He
Um,
still has to spend time to build the item,
yeah,
which is time he's not spending controlling the wave to however he wants. So there is some cost to the Ornn.
yeah, definitely. But it is very like optimal for an on to just chill and relax, get his items. But yeah, having those items as like anyone playing into an on, in this case it is Renekton, you just want to be getting those little bits of buffs you can give yourself with those items. Because Ornn gets to spend his money in lane, you do not. You need to kind of play the waves, so you're going to be coming back. When he's hitting items, you're hitting items. And you need to play in this sense. So right now, just leave this wave alone. And then you'll like progress 10 times better from there. But let's continue on.
Renekton's already somewhat jumped for gun, though. As you can see, he's actually got a 4th caster, which he's standing on top of at the moment. So already, even if he doesn't push, the wave is naturally pushing into Ornn. He's already jumped the gun a little bit.
I didn't see that because. Okay, so.
Recut.
Nah, it's fine. It's fine. Keep it in. Everyone makes mistakes sometimes. But yeah, definitely. We have more casters here. That's why these minions are dying a lot faster than killing these ones. So in that case, you really have to not touch these minions. Let the minions kill it themselves. Just last hit the creep. And if you need to, just give up the creep. You're still going to get the EXP. You're going to miss out on a little bit of gold. But just the lane presence that it's going to create for you is probably more ideal. So I'd say let's just cut in, see how this lane unfolds for you. Play. So yeah, right now, doing a little bit better. Like we are last hitting, but it's definitely pushing to on because of that extra caster. So what you want to be doing, you don't really want to be wiggling in the minions right now. You don't really need to prior the last hits. What you want to be doing is walking up, trying to force on to just trade with you. And yeah, this wave is definitely screwed. So right now, third wave's pulling up. Like I said, once this wave comes in, you just want to clear all these immediately. Once this one pulls up to right here, we just kill this whole wave and hit the B button. But the fact that we are covering this kind of goes to show that it doesn't happen. So right now, just last hitting very slowly and letting Ornn sit here for free. Like this is nice here, the going up being a little bit aggro. Not really caring about the tower, which you shouldn't, because we should have pushed this wave in immediately and got our recall off of. You definitely could have done it here. It's just a matter of mindset, I should say. Yeah, Coffee?
He's playing very safely.
Yes.
He's playing as if he doesn't want to trade, only moving forward when he has to go for the last touch, which is somewhat the opposite of how an Exon wants to be playing the lane.
Yeah. Like
he's playing as he's the one that is unable to take trades against the early game champion, which is not what we have here. All of us Renekton. Renekton fares far better early on.
Yeah, Renekton like is complete early game champion. Definitely falls off later stages, so you need to force the leads that he can create because he is quite the bully. Yeah, like this Renekton right now, when that wave did hit, he should have killed all of it immediately. While he was standing in kind of this rough area within the casters. And if Ornn ever tries to walk forward, you spin with Q, and then Ornn just gets chunked, and you're A-okay because one, you're still clearing the minions like your mission is supposed to do, as well as chunking out a bit of damage on the Ornn. It's everything you want to do in this case, and then in that, get this wave pushed in. Ornn can't clear it fast enough. That leads to the next wave stacking in, and that'll hold here, and slow push back towards you. You come back with item, eat the wave right here, and then by that time, Kane should be finished with camps, should be recalled, and heading straight up here, straight back your lane that you have nice and set up for him to gank. And especially since this isn't on, Kane definitely wanting Ras this time round as their conqueror. And just Ras the overall better option when it comes to these competitive games. The amount of CC utility he brings compared to blue form. And then the only places he can get red at the moment, Braum, not the Syndra. I don't know why I drew that line. Cross that one out. That's a kick dub, but Olaf and Ornn. Now if he gets to fight Ornn a lot, like that's a mission completed for both Kane and both you as Renekton by having lane control. So yeah, it's just a lot of things to do, and that's only in the first 1 minute of the game. And we went from 130 to 247.
Because of how waves work, once you start pushing towards the other team, you can't really stop it. So for early game decisions, they do compound as the laning phase goes on, which is why these early game decisions are so important.
Yeah. So what we see happen instead, he takes the trade, which was not bad, but he needed to clear the minions. Minion wave does get to the tower, but it isn't fast enough for all the casters to crash. Now what we have right now is Ornn can freeze this permanently as 4 casters. If he always keeps 4 minions here, the wave will always be frozen this location here. And that's going to set Olaf, who's already up in this top side, just come through, slide through, and gank you. Not what you want. Not a good time.
Exactly the Ornn couldn't have set this up better if he tried.
Yeah.
The wave's exactly where he wants to be, and what the wave is in front of Ornn's turret, but not in range of a turret. So it won't be crashing. His wave won't be pushing back into the Nexon, but also it's quite deep. It's a bit risky for the Nexon to move up. Since the Nexon's the one that has control over the wave in the early game, as opposed to Ornn, because again, when Nexon wins these early trades, this has been we got here due to mistakes by the Nexon, for Ornn didn't really have any way of reaching this on his own.
Yeah, definitely. Renekton set himself up for failure, and Ornn's doing everything correct to kind of capitalize on that failure as well. As you can see, he's making sure he last hits the creeps. Renekton's coming through here to try pressure him off. Doesn't really mind Ornn too much. He's going to take those trades, try to keep the wave out of the tower as much as he can. Does screw it up a little bit, but it's not too big of a problem right now. Unfortunately,
It's
take
still
those
roughly
minions.
even. The next wave is going to crash in, and it's still going to be on Ornn's side map, even though we have now started a slow push towards the next.
Yeah. So a bit of a slow push going to Renekton. But what happens right now is Renekton doesn't realize this is a slow push to him, and he just queues all the casters. Now, I'm sure you just heard what Coffee said. This is a wave pushing to Renekton. We had an extra caster minion right here. Do not do ever as any champion. If the lane is pushing towards you, we had already screwed up and you set it up here, but unfortunately for Ornn, just had those melees that kind of walked wonky. You let this slow push back to you. When the wave was here in this state, Ornn wasn't able to hold it. The casters went a little too far into the tower range. They got pew-pewed. Now what happens now is Ornn has a wave that's going to slow push towards you as the Renekton. What you do is you just hit these ones that Ornn's hitting. If Ornn hits a minion, you hit a minion. If Ornn chooses a minion, you just auto a minion. You wait for these minions to come to about here, or a little bit further, maybe in this area, and then you can start clearing them up and then setting it up to freeze for yourself. So if you don't know how to freeze, I'd suggest going to the old YouTube, typing in how to freeze, and then you'll get like a nice 20-minute explanation on how the amount of minions affect how things happen, and what minions are there affects what happens. So just a quick rundown. We have how many did we have? We had 4 casters.
5 casters.
5 casters. There's 3 melees, yeah? 3 melees. So what you have is 3 melees, 3 casters. I'm sure you can do very basic math. With 3 plus 5 equals 8, and 3 plus 3 equals 6. 8's definitely bigger than 6. This means it's going to push. Now, do not want to make this the same value. If you make this the same value, then you're going to be back to a state where it's just stuck here. And that's not what you want. Already screwed up the wave, let it come through.
As for Nexon, you're basically okay with any position of the wave other than this. You're fine if the wave is, in a sense, you're fine if the wave is pushing towards you. You're fine if you're able to crash the wave under Ornn's turrets. You just do not want it to be on Ornn's side of the map, but in a position where it's not able to be crashed. It's the only time where it's bad for an exit.
Yeah, so First Blood goes over mid side. That gives a lot of information towards both the enemy, like hey, Kane's mid side right now. I can look at his farm, 24. He's probably done his full top side, 2 camps down and picked up Scuttle. That's probably the things running through Ornn's mind and Olaf's mind right now, who are both in the top side. And that means Kane's probably just going to go reset, or he'll go eat that bottom camp. He's not going to look for Olaf's camps because of how Olaf cleared. If he was going to, he'd have to go look down in the bottom red side. So then again, Kane's not going to be a factor in this top side for a little bit. And this kind of just leads to more failure coming out of the Renekton on.
We again have we had a situation where Orn was again attacking the minions, and the next one had the opportunity to once again have the wave slow push into him. But instead, he takes a Q onto the minions, clears them all out, and now
Yeah.
leaves himself with a little bit extra. But again, he doesn't commit to trying to crash this wave.
Yeah, so once again, he took 8 to 6 minions and he turned it into 4 to 1. Not what you want. You want to always keep enemy minions higher, so if you wanted to thin it out a little bit, he would have to just thin one until Ornn kills one. And when Ornn kills one, hey, you can kill one for fun. But you kind of want 5 to 4 is the golden number when it comes to a freeze. But the case this time round, like we said, Renekton pushed this one back into the Ornn. And this is going to lead to a few hiccups that do slide through. So Kane hitting that vision up on the top side leads to a bit of knowledge where the Kane is right now. Renekton goes for a trade on the Ornn. He's looking to get the wave in this time, maybe. Getting a few auto attacks out here and there. Goes for the Q. This is a lot better. This is what he should have been doing earlier. But then Ornn just so good. Look at him. Ah,
This is Renekton. Ornn has
beauty.
the only reason this happens is because Renekton moves off into the side bush in the river, which meant that Ornn was able to freely walk up and into the bush, which was what he wants to do, to again prevent the wave from crashing. He's fine taking the hits. The only reason he can do this is because Renekton walks. If Renekton walks his wave into the turret, then this is no reason to happen.
Yeah, so Renekton just stays with the wave, walks it all the way to here, then he can leave. He can just completely leave and not miss anything. This wave will die on the tower. The wave pulling up, I think this is like wave 7, yeah? Wave 7 pulled up, and it will slow push back towards the Renekton. He just lets the Ornn do the best thing ever, and he Ornn walks this up into the brush. Like if Ornn was super greedy, because he does have the pot, so he can take it a little bit longer, he could walk all the way up into the middle brush, and then let it pull all the way there. It'll pull here. His wave will pull up to here. It'll sit right outside the tower range, and then he just has an ultimate freeze. But yeah, he does get a little scared. Goes to this brush, which is still fine. But from that point on, man, Renekton is just dunzo. The lane presence that you've created yourself, it's just been absorbed away. Yeah, as Renekton right now, we just gotta try kill the wave as fast as we can. Try get it under the tower because we're at an awkward spot. We're sitting on 1,070 gold. We're probably going to be going for something like Bork this game, I think he goes for. No Cleaver Rush. Opting for that Bork kind of abuse. Then Ornn just doing an amazing job. Clears the wave. And then he hits this fat recall to go refill his corrupting potions. Has TP available. And what Renekton does right now is he doesn't check where Ornn is. Which is bad, because now you have a lack of information. Is Ornn just waiting here buying an item? Is he waiting for you to do something? We don't know. As the Renekton, we have no idea what's happened to the Ornn. He could be sitting right here under this tower, buying an item. He could be out warding. We do have this little ward though that would find that one out. But however, we still don't know where the Ornn is. So in this case, what do you think we should do, Coffee?
The easiest option was to mash the recall. There was a large amount of time while Ornn was CSing under tower that Renekton wasn't really doing anything. Again, he walked into the river bush and did nothing. That would have been a good time to get the reset off. He would have been able to, if Ornn decides to reset as well after crashing the wave, which he does, then you get back first, and again you have control of the wave. Even if Ornn wants to stay and try and push, you should be fine to reach it. He can't really walk up unless he knows that you've gone back for sure, because you could be seeing in a bush waiting to kill him. This is quite a common move by these early game champions such as Nexon. He can't just free clear the wave like you would want to and punish you for recalling. So you can take the faster recall, you can get back, and then you can keep control of the wave.
Yeah, probably what he should have done. Wasn't the case, but right now he should go check to see where on is, and then use that to figure out what he needs to do with this mini wave. If he leaves it here, it looks like it's just gonna stay about here. Both waves will crash up. If that's the case. Both waves will come through. He's gonna be even with on when it comes in terms of items and whatnot. Or he can fast push this immediately, make Ornn have to rush to get back here, maybe forcing a TP. But instead he opts towards a slow push. Now what the slow push does for him here, it's not much because this means Ornn can walk back freely, no pressure on him. There's no time constraint to get back to this lane. He is missing a few CS here and there. He's missed 2. He's gonna miss 3 melees. I miss more. But in the long run, Ornn's gonna get this whole big stack of wave come through. He's gonna get to hold it. And not only that, he has the Olaf in the area. Which he probably shouldn't be, to be honest, but this push is just not good. We slowed it very, 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 very slow. Once that wave pulls in, I keep hitting 3. So once we had that first wave, the initial one, and we had the one that came through. Once this wave comes through, which is wave 7, I don't remember. Let's call this wave,
Oh no, that's a cannon wave like that.
not 7. Let's call this
Wave
Z.
10.
It's 10? Who cares? It's Z now. The wave Z is coming through, and the wave before, call that N. Wave N, once wave Z gets here, take both of these and we shove them straight into the tower as fast as we can. We don't want to do it slowly because that leads to this guy coming back and just being like, hey, you didn't punish me that hard. I can eat all these bad boys myself. And then you've set yourself up for failure because now you're forced into staying here in this area so you don't miss EXP or any CS. That sets you up for a gank that's gonna come through right now.
It's
And
even worse than the previous time this happened because now Ornn has the item advantage as well. So the
yes,
next one isn't even able to win the trades like he had before. He doesn't even have that much control over how the lane works anymore because he didn't take his back.
yeah. So lack of item advantage against a champion that abuses items. You've just set yourself up for a really, really tough time. You're trying your best to get the wave through now. You go for a double dash. Waste Fury, but who cares? Come through. The Olaf gank comes out. You stun him. You ult. You flash out. Now this is a really, really, really big question that ran through my mind. Hopefully through yours as well. We're here. 6:06. We start hitting the channel for the recall. We look at our minion wave. Is There's 1, 2, 3 casters, 1, 2, 3 melees. We got 3 melees, 3 casters. What do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4 melees. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 casters and 1 cannon. I'm gonna put a K. Cannon is spelled with K. Trust me. I'm sure you can definitely do math here. 6 compared to 10 plus 1. That's a really big one. This wave is pushing to on, and if he wants, he could cull out most of this and then freeze it right here. So, kind of screwed. Your options are very limited. Recalling's probably the play. You're probably just gonna have to give this up because you've already used everything. You've used your ultimate, you've used your flash, your health resource has been limited from a full bar all the way down to about a third. So you're in a pickle, big pickle. All you need to do right now, recall, hit the B, go buy items, come back and try force with the help of this guy, help break the freeze because there should be a freeze here. You really need Kane to come break it. which is a really big downside towards the rest of the team. Kane will be unable to help them, but you really need it. If we go through 606, we were recalling, and we cancelled recall. Cancelling recall here is definitely not the play, my friend. You're gonna put yourself behind.
We're achieving nothing by staying here. We're not getting the XP, we're not getting the CS.
Yeah.
The wave is still pushing underneath one, so we're losing minions XP. The lane position's getting worse.
Yeah.
And we're AFK.
So we wasted 18 seconds of time. That's half the way back to lane. 18 seconds is half the way back to tower. Yep. The wave's already screwed. You missed all the EXP from these allies. You're gonna miss the casters as well. You decide to recall now, which is obviously the play from the beginning. Should have always done that. Why didn't you do the unthinkable?
And again, it ends up in the perfect position for Ornn. And now Renekton decides to TP back in.
This TP is death. We know Olaf was just here. Literally at 6:06. The amount of time that's passed is 29 seconds. If you think about it, what can Olaf do in 29 seconds if he was just here in top lane? Recall? Or he could go farm his blue side jungle. And that's the case here. We've seen Olaf go towards the Gromp. Not going to take him long to do that Gromp. 29 seconds is about... It's pretty long, but you got to take into account the time to walk there. And
the first thing Olaf did while Renekton was wasting his time recalling was he got the scuttle for free.
Yeah. Scuttle, Gromp, and now that you've TP'd right here into a wave that's stuck just outside the tower for Ornn, Olaf's in the area, you're 100% dead. No flash, no ultimate, no way you can outplay this. Ornn is about to hit 6. That's the big ultimate that comes through. Just eats up the whole lane for you, cuts your path, and you're dead. This is 100% dead. And I'm glad to see it is dead. And it kind of reinforces the fact that this play should just never occur in the first place. And yeah, this is basically how the Renekton lost this lane completely. Good dodge there, but you come back forward. Good donezo. Nice performance.
Yep. He doesn't have his cooldown, so he can't even look to try and take the fight. But
yeah,
Olaf was 6th anyway. There was, even with your cooldowns, I don't think you guys anyway getting out of this one as Renekton. Too far up the lane when you know enemy jungles around. It's a lose-lose really, no matter what Renekton does, but he chose the worst option of them all.
Definitely. Like, Olaf's still in the area. Ornn's hit a 6. You know flash. No F. No R. No life. And with that, your lane is just in Ornn's favor. What should have happened here, just to top it off from the side, blue side here, Addison and Mr. McDonald's, was both of these champions should push out this next wave, hit that whole wave on the tower, because remember, no TP, you're going to lose out a whole cannon wave, and then you would have been really screwed. But luckily for you, Olaf didn't help, and that kind of saved you a little bit, just to keep you inside the EXP, as well as farm. But overall, in my opinion, 7 minutes into the game, Ornn's already completed his goal of just being annoying and trying to keep minion waves in this area. He's shown he can do it. He's gonna definitely continuously do this. Just as the Renekton, your goal was to hit the slow push on wave, or not a slow push. Stay even on wave 1, stay even on wave 2, and you wait for the wave 3 to connect with wave 2, and then you just push this fast towards the tower. Fortunately, that didn't work out, and this led to a whole keeper mistakes that came through, forces your TP back to lane at the 430 mark, and that's when you die to this. The next 30 seconds, top lane's definitely over from there. That gets Olaf on his roll that he needs with the 1 kill. A champion like Olaf, who's very Sinnoh-like, needs mistakes to happen to be rewarded, and this was a mistake that happened. Yeah, I think with that, should probably cut the video there. Yeah, so go look up a video on freezing. Make sure you have a play around and practice tool with minion waves. Like, have a tutu, have a look to see maybe like um if they have three melees, 3 casters. What would that do if I have 2 melees, 3 casters? What would the kind of outcome be with the push? Have a play around with these kind of aspects. Maybe you set it up with 4 casters, 3 melees, and you have 3-3. What you're gonna find, the more casters, the more it's gonna push casters just 10 times more damage. Just have a play around with this kind of factor and practice with keeping them in these kind of areas right here. These are the areas you want to be playing when you freeze, because this leads to junglers that can do this, and it leads to enemies needing to overextend. And like I said, you just get straight in behind yourself. And Olaf doing a good Olaf. Ornn's done a good job this game. Renekton has to be here. Olaf can just slide through the overextended Renekton. And yeah, so anything else I think we should cover, Coffee?
No, I think we've explained everything. We've explained what both sides of us want to do and what the mistakes were by the Renekton and how it led to this unfortunate position, which we're what you can easily do is go into a custom game with one of your teammates, perhaps your mid laner, if other solo laner, and then play around with the minion waves. As you said, with 2 people in the game, it's quite easy to set up the
Yeah.
minion advantages that we were talking about, and you can see how they play out.
Alright, I'm gonna say video cut now. Bam. There we go.
Too good.
That's our outro, Pogu. Just make the outro, that's our outro, Pogu. And then, yeah. Thank you.